Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder, everyone, please turn off or silence all your cell phones or electronic devices. This is a hearing and committee adjustment for the City of Thorold for Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Everyone present will be given an opportunity to speak for or against the applications being heard. Members of the public are welcome to speak to the planning matters before the committee today, specifically as they relate to the minor variance and/or land severance applications under consideration. Please ensure your comments focus on the relevant planning matters to which the committee is deciding on. When given a chance to speak, you will have 5 minutes, so please be sure to be as clear and consistent as possible. For your information, Committee of Adjustment is a public process. Personal information such as the applicant's name and property address, which is reported at a Committee of Adjustment meeting, is public information. Minutes of this Committee of Adjustment meeting will be received by Thorold City Council. Please address your comments or questions through the chair. A copy of the decision will be sent to the applicant or agent or to any person who files a written request. Agencies commenting on applications may request that certain conditions be imposed. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. Committee of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body operating under the Planning Act, Municipal Act, and the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, as well as various provincial regulations. Sections 45 and 50 of the Planning Act outline the circumstances surrounding the approval of minor variances and controlling the conveyance of land in Ontario and the prevention of subdivision of land except with governmental approval. The applicant, the minister, or any specified person or public body who has an interest in the matter may, within 20 days of the making of the minor variance decision or 20 days from the date of mailing a consent decision, appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Please note, neighbors and other interested parties not defined by the Planning Act are no longer eligible to file appeals as per Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act 2022. I'd ask the clerk to read the land acknowledgement, please.
The City of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Haudenosaunee, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The City of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Does any member of this panel have a pecuniary interest in any of the applications to be considered at this hearing? No? Nor do I. May I have a motion from the committee that the agenda be adopted as presented? Moved by Mr. Ravenek, seconded by Mr. Pizzo. All in favor? Thank you. May I have a motion that the minutes from July 17th, 2025 be adopted? Moved by Mr. Pizzo, seconded by Mr. Ravenek. All in favor? Thank you. Madam Secretary Treasurer, was notice given as required by the Planning Act?
Yes.
Are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment?
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, I think we should, sorry, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, we should probably appoint Courtney as the Secretary Treasurer before that statement is given.
All right. We have a motion to accept. All right.
A little nice.
A little. She said a little. Moved by Mr. Ravenek, seconded by Mr. Pizzo. Any further comments? No, thank you. Welcome. Good luck. Madam Secretary Treasurer, was notice given as required by the Planning Act?
Yes.
And are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment?
No.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Planner, D13-14-2025, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So, our first application today is at 80 Pine Street. It's a minor variance to permit the construction of a detached garage and additional dwelling unit. The applicant is requesting relief in accessory height building height going from 4.5 meters to 6.4 meters, and relief from the gross floor area requirements for a second dwelling unit going from 40% of the primary dwelling unit to 69%. Staff are requesting a condition that approval of this application be subject to submission of a Stage 1 archaeological assessment to the satisfaction of the city. As I mentioned, the subject lands are 80 Pine Street. It's zoned Residential 3, R3C within the Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw. It's designated urban living under the City of Thorold official plan and delineated built up as part of the Niagara official plan. Located within an urban residential block, currently a duplex is the only structure on site. The City of Thorold is supposed to accommodate roughly 1,600 new residential lots by 2051 within built-up areas, as per the Niagara official plan, and the urban living area is targeted for intensification under the City of Thorold official plan. All other provisions of the zoning bylaw are being maintained. Under Section 45 of the Planning Act, a minor variance of this nature needs to pass 4 tests. The first, that the application maintains the general intent of the official plan. As it relates to the OP, Thorold's growth plans prioritize roughly 15 to 25% of new housing within the built-up area through infill, redevelopment, and diverse housing types, focusing on higher density within the core of the urban living area. Secondly, secondary dwelling units are permitted by right in urban living areas, provided they meet zoning, servicing, and design standards aligned with neighborhood character. Planning staff found that the proposed 1.9 meter height increase for the rear yard accessory structure aligns with the official plan, preserves the neighborhood character, and meets all other criteria, including parking and servicing. As it relates to the relief in gross floor area, staff conclude that the proposed accessory building, despite its larger gross floor area, maintains neighborhood character, meets lot coverage requirements, ensures proper drainage and stormwater management, and provides added parking and living space without significant impact. The second of the 4-part test is, does the proposal meet the general intent of the zoning bylaw? Under the comprehensive zoning bylaw, additional dwelling units are permitted as an accessory use to duplexes. Accessory structures are limited to a total height of 4.5 meters and a gross floor area of 40% of the principal dwelling unit. Relating to height, these regulations are implemented to ensure consistent appearance and manage the scale and density of development. Given that the proposed structure's height does not create additional density beyond what is already permitted within the zoning bylaw, is in the rear yard, and is appropriately set back from neighboring properties, the effect the accessory structure would have on the neighborhood character is minimal. As defined in the comprehensive zoning bylaw, gross floor area means the total area of all floors of a building or structure measured from the exterior surface of the exterior walls or common walls, which includes the uninhabitable garage space of the proposed accessory structure. Furthermore, the existing residence is a duplex dwelling without an attached garage, greatly reducing the principal gross floor area. The proposal does not require further provisions from the zoning bylaw and maintains the overall grading and drainage of the property. Staff also understand that the owners are contemplating demolishing the existing duplex and erecting a new duplex which would be larger than the existing structure, bringing the site into compliance. As such, staff are of the opinion that the comprehensive zoning bylaw's intent and general purpose is being met in this proposal. The third test, whether or not the development is appropriate for the land. Given that the proposal seeks to allow for the construction of a second dwelling unit within an area defined by the official plans as a target for residential intensification, and under the comprehensive zoning bylaw as a lot which already supports more intensive residential development. Additionally, the application was circulated to internal departments and external agencies, and there were no objections. As such, staff are of the opinion that both requested reliefs are appropriate for the development of the land. And finally, the fourth test, are the variances minor? The Planning Act does not define what minor is. It is a consideration for the overall impact, not necessarily a numerical assessment. The accessory structure is positioned in the rear yard to minimize these impacts and meets residential zone setback requirements, minimizing its overall impact. Variances for height and gross floor area enable additional on-site parking and increased height without negatively affecting the neighborhood, addressing parking needs in an area planned for intensification. As such, staff are of the opinion that the requested variances are minor in nature. Overall, staff are supportive of the requested variances at 80 Pine Street South to facilitate the development of a rear yard ADU and garage through reliefs in accessory structure height and gross floor area, subject to the conditions listed within the report. Turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? If you could identify yourself.
Janine Yeager-Ayala from Yeager Architectural Design.
Is your microphone on, Janine?
I'm not sure.
The green light?
There it is. Yes, sorry.
Ah, we go.
Okay, Janine Yeager-Ayala from Yeager Architectural Design Service. I'm the
Welcome.
agent.
Welcome. Go ahead if you have anything to add.
No, not really. I had sent some other drawings. There was a question originally about the gross area and the proposed building that the homeowner eventually wants to build. I had sent them, if you wanted to take a look at them, they're here of the proposed, what the homeowner would like to do is they would like to build the garage first with the apartment and have that operational functional to give them income, and then tear the existing home down and then build a triplex in that area. So I do have those. I had sent those into the planning department if somebody wanted to see them. If you did, pertaining, because it'll be under the minimum gross floor area if you wanted to.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I'm just wondering if the clerk is.
Can you pull those drawings up
Through you,
for us,
Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Yeah.
Clerk?
Just so you're aware, Kieran Daniels is now joined us.
Welcome, Mr. Daniels.
Okay.
Welcome. Mr. Daniels, are you declaring a conflict for any of these applications?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're proposed drawings. They should be submitted. They're not in that application. I sent them separately after it was sent out.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're on my computer. I'll just be a second.
Okay, they don't, if they want to look, if they don't want to look at them, that's fine. You don't need to bring them up. But that was in case there was a question about the gross floor area in the future.
Are the committee members willing to move forward without seeing these sketches down the road? Okay.
I do have one question.
Never mind, go ahead.
The architectural assessment, archaeological assessment, is that something that has to be done? Because I'm wondering, because I read the whole application and the region said they would like it to be done, but it wasn't a requirement. And I'm just wondering if there's a way to not make that as a requirement, because what it had said on there was that if we do some digging and we find something, we need to call it in. But they thought that we didn't need to have to do go through and do an archaeological assessment early.
To the planner.
Through you, Mr. Chair. In reviewing this application, the lands were identified as containing archaeological potential, identified by the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation as well as the region. The Mississaugas of the Credit are, in their correspondence to us, asked for the condition to be imposed, and in support of what the region said, we would like to maintain this condition just because it allows the city to maintain that kind of control over the archaeological aspect of the development.
Well, the region said they would like to see it, and they wanted the owner to say if they find something to call it in, because now you're asking for a financial burden to the owner of the property to take this on. Those are not inexpensive things to do.
Mr. Chairman, this is Thorold, not the region.
Well, it's merely a recommendation. It'll be up to the committee to impose this condition. More from the presenter?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, questions, comments?
A couple of comments. One comment that under the current configuration, I have to say that this looks a very good project because there's ample parking. Now, once the triplex is constructed, hopefully there'll be parking considerations for that as well. And then I would have one question to staff. These ADUs, are they also subject to the residential licensing bylaw?
Yes, they would. If the intention is to use it as a rental property, it would need to be licensed and registered.
All right. And then I guess my last question would be about this stage 1 archaeological assessment. Is this standard that this is applied? Like, I understand that there's a financial burden, but the reality is if this is standard, then I don't think we should be overriding it. So you'd have to give us a reason to, other than financial burden, to override it?
Right, yeah, so the reason that the archaeological assessment was imposed, or the condition was imposed on this application in particular, was just because the lands have been identified as containing archaeological potential. So that's why I guess the condition was initially raised, but that's not a standard condition for different minor variances because the sites are different.
Okay. I'm done.
Mr. Pizzo? Microphone?
We have to leave it on because somebody called in about it. We don't do it in every lot in Thorold. We only do it for ones that call. How many parking spots does this call for? How many parking spots when it's finished?
To the planner?
So through you, Mr. Chair, the ADU is going, or the proposed ADU is going to add 2 parking spaces within the structure, and then also provide tandem parking along the driveway.
That doesn't tell me how many.
So
Five.
How many?
There'll be 5. I had sent that plan in originally because I did 2 site plans. I did this site plan and existing conditions, and I also did a site plan of the proposed conditions with the new dwelling unit and the garage to make sure everything fit so that the planning department was able to see that.
So, Mr. Chairman, the garage is 2.
Yes, the garage is 2, and then there's 3 behind the new structure. The new structure replaces will have 2 dwelling units on the first floor and a 3rd one on the 2nd floor.
What's it called for?
So they meet the parking requirements. They are required to have 5 spaces under that configuration, and they meet that. They're actually adding more parking than would be required for their ADU.
Mr. Daniels, anything?
Nothing here.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that the application be approved with the conditions as stated in the planning report. Having so that would be the approval of D13 14 2025 80 Pine Street South. I'll make a motion that it be approved based on a review of the pertinent information, comments presented at the meeting and having conducted a site visit, and for the reasons stated in the planning report and the conditions stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Yeah.
Mr. Pizzo? Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you.
Question to the planner, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
If a member of the family moved into that garage, does he have to pay for that unit?
They wouldn't. It would be similar to if your son was to live in, a room in your house. So unless they wanted to rent that out to somebody, they wouldn't need to register it. So they wouldn't need to charge rent.
You know what I mean? Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Planner, 60 Patricia Street, D1008, 2025, D1311, 2025, and D1312, 2025. We'll be making our decisions separately, but you may want to do your presentation.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll be presenting all the applications together. So 60 Patricia Street, it's a combined consent and minor variance to facilitate semi-detached construction within the living area. The consent application is to sever approximately 169 square meters from 60 Patricia Street, We're requesting relief in total lot area and frontage within the R1C zone. The required lot area within the R1C zone is 200 square meters. Applicant requesting, as I mentioned, 169. And the required frontage is 7.0 meters. The applicant requesting 5.3. All other provisions of the zoning bylaw are being maintained. As I mentioned, it's R1C and designated urban living and delineated built-up areas within the official plans. Located within an urban residential block, previously a detached garage was the only structure located on the severed lot. The City of Thorold, as I mentioned, is supposed to accommodate roughly 1,600 new residential units by 2051 within the built-up residential area, and the urban living area is a target for intensification under the City of Thorold official plan. The consent application was reviewed with consideration of applicable policies within the planning statement, the region's official plan, the City of Thorold official plan, and the City of Thorold comprehensive zoning bylaw. With respect to the provincial policies, or provincial planning statement, the PPS encourages residential intensification within established urban areas by promoting a diverse range of housing options and densities to meet projected needs and support the development of complete communities. The proposal aligns with the PPS's goals by intensifying previously developed lands targeted for intensification within a settlement area, and staff are of the opinion that it generally conforms with the relevant policy directions. As it relates to the Niagara Region official plan, the region's official plan outlines a minimum target of 1,600 new dwelling units in Thorold and encourages intensification through infill and redevelopment within the built-up area, along with a mix of unit types and densities to meet diverse housing needs and environmental considerations. The proposal supports this growth by adding additional residential units within the existing built area, aligning with OP and the Niagara official plan objectives for intensification, housing diversity, and climate resilient design. As such, staff believe it generally conforms with the plan's policies. With regards to the City of Thorold official plan, the City of Thorold official plan supports residential intensification within the urban living area to support an efficient use of infrastructure, with 15% of growth coming from the built boundary and an emphasis on compatibility with the existing neighborhood character in redevelopment. The proposal meets the City of Thorold's policies by adding housing units on a properly serviced site with no negative environmental or traffic impacts, contributing to housing supply, mix and supply. Staff generally conclude that it conforms with the City of Thorold official plan. And finally, with respect to the comprehensive zoning bylaw, the subject lands are zoned residential 1, which permits semi-detached dwellings but requires minimum lot sizes of 200 meters squared and frontages of 7 meters. The proposed lots fall short of these standards at 169 meters and 5.3 frontage. However, the built form is permitted within the zone and all other aspects of the zoning bylaw are being maintained. Minor variance applications have been submitted to address the deficiencies, and planning staff conclude that the proposal generally conforms with the intent of the comprehensive zoning bylaw. As it relates to the 4-part test under Section 45 of the Planning Act, the proposal aligns with the intensification goals of both the Niagara official plan and the City of Thorold's official plan, contributing to the planned growth within the built-up and urban living areas while maintaining appropriate density, climate-conscious design, and compatibility with surrounding neighborhood character. Staff support both the requested variances for reduced lot area and frontage, noting that the proposal still provides adequate amenity space, parking, and built form consistency, and thus meets the overall intent of the NOP, the Niagara official plan, and the City of Thorold official plan. With respect to maintaining the general intent and purpose of the comprehensive zoning bylaw, the use and built form are both supported by the comprehensive zoning bylaw. Minimum lot area provisions are provided to ensure consistent neighborhood character as it relates to built form and density, as well as ensuring adequate open space and amenity space are provided, whereas lot frontage provisions are provided to ensure that lots are of a consistent character, provide sufficient parking, and maintain the existing densities. Given that the proposal provides both adequate rear yard and amenity space, maintaining a sufficient level of greenery given to the established neighborhood character, and no negative impacts are anticipated from adoption. Additionally, the proposal's build form, despite the requested relief, is consistent with the build form of other semi-detached residential dwellings within the neighborhood. Overall, planning staff are of the opinion that the proposal meets the overall intent of the comprehensive zoning bylaw. With regards to the appropriateness of development, the proposal requests a minor variance to allow an additional dwelling unit area identified by the official plans for residential intensification and already zoned to permit such development under the comprehensive zoning bylaw. No objections were received from circulated agencies, and planning staff considered the requested reliefs for lot area and frontage to be appropriate, with no anticipated adverse impacts and consistent with the intended use and character of the area. Finally, with respect to the variance's minor nature, the determination, as I mentioned, of what constitutes minor under the Planning Act depends on the context and impact. In this case, the anticipated impacts are minimal and the variances support a permitted use aligned with intensification goals. Since all other zoning provisions are maintained and adequate parking is provided, planning staff considered the requested reliefs for lot area and frontage appropriate and consistent with the intended development of the land. In conclusion, staff are supportive of both the requested consent and minor variances at 60 Patricia Street to facilitate the proposed development, subject to the conditions listed within the report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please, if you could come forward? Nobody? 1 second. Mm-hmm.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Zachary Socio Marandola is here to speak.
Thank you. Welcome. Go ahead, Mr. Marandola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So my name is Zachary Socio Marandola. I'm agent for the applicant here. I do want to start with an overview of the property. So 60 Patricia Street has always been an oversized residential lot with a single dwelling and a detached garage. But it is made up of 2 full lots on a registered plan of subdivision. So that's lot 112 and lot 113. Actually, if I may, I believe I have the ability, I'd like to just share my screen. Perfect. Is that showing on your screen there?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Perfect. So again, this gives an overview of the property itself, the full property, 60 Patricia. Now, this is what it looked like for a large majority of its operation time. Now, there are 2 legally separate and conveyable lots. So it's made up of lot 112 and 113 on a registered plan of subdivision. So again, at one point it did contain this detached garage, but a demolition permit was obtained and the garage was removed. So that is now clear. So, and this gives a current version of what's sitting on the property. So again, that was removed. So this is now a vacant lot. So the proposal here is to create 2 semi-detached homes, and this is just pertaining to lot 113. So the proposed lots would be identical, each with 5.335 meters of lot frontage and 169 meters of lot area. The zoning bylaw allows for semis as a permitted use on this lot. However, we would be seeking minor variances for the frontage and area. So again, the requirement on the frontage is 7 meters. We're proposing 5.335 on both the severed and retained. On lot area, the requirement is 200 square meters, and we're proposing 169. So to sort this application, we did retain Michael Barton, who is a registered professional planner, who's been qualified as an expert in land use planning by the Ontario Land Tribunal. He provided a planning opinion on the proposal as well as city planning staff. Both concluded that the consent application conforms with all the applicable planning policies, both at the provincial, the regional, and municipal levels, and the requested variance satisfy the 4 tests. With respect to parking, the parking bylaw through section 6.15 of the former 1997 version requires 1 parking space per dwelling. So each of the proposed semi-detached units would have at least 1 parking space, satisfying that requirement. In addition, so again, the way the property used to be situated, so lot 112, even though that's not part of the application today, the applicant did move forward and create a parking space so that there's no adverse effects of this application. There are also some precedents for this type of development in the neighborhood. Semi-detached homes of roughly the same size, already existing on King Street and Battle Street, and those are shown right here. They function within the character of the neighborhood. This proposal would follow that same pattern. It's practical. It adds 2 well-designed homes in a modest infill setting. And most importantly, it adds to the city's housing target in a way that fits with the character and neighborhood of the area. So for these reasons, we respectfully ask that the consent and minor variance applications be approved through committee. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marandola. Questions, comments from the committee members? Mr. Ravenek?
Yeah, just a question. I'm presuming this is the question to the applicant. The stairs on the residential dwelling that's on the retained portion there, I take it they're going to be removed so that they're not encroaching on?
So I'm going to go to the reference plan here. Which encroachment are you referring to here?
Well, it looks like what's it say, the porch looks like it extends onto part 1. It says wood platform.
Wood platform. Okay, so as you can see here in this image, that has already been removed.
Okay. All right. And then with respect to parking, you said that there's going to be 1 parking spot per unit. Are there going to be garages in these developments, or is it just the
goal would be garages. We haven't gone through the architectural stage to confirm whether we can make it work with design aspects. So it'll be, now I know that garage would still not add to the legal parking space requirement because that would be tandem and the requirement would be 1 accessible parking space. So there will always be 1, and if possible, we're going to be looking to add a garage that allows for another parking space. But it's unclear whether we can with the design aspects.
Okay, thank you. And then my next question would be to the planner, and that relates to the archaeological. I take it that an archaeological assessment's already been done, and that one of the conditions is that it be submitted. Is that correct?
Yeah, just to register the archaeological assessment.
Okay, so it has been completed then.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have no problem. I'll move the.
Okay. Mr. Daniels, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope, nothing here.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Mr. Pizzo, you go ahead and read your motion.
I've got my glasses.
Want to borrow mine?
Yeah, make an application, a motion, be approved with a site plan visit, parking is in place, be an improvement to the Patricia Street.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, just clear, this is the consent motion, right?
Yeah, we're just going through it in order.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Ravenek, did you second that?
Yes.
Thank you. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, move on to the next one, D1311-2025.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the application you just mentioned be approved based on review of the pertinent information and comments presented at this hearing, and having conducted a site visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report, inclusive of the conditions stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that? Mr. Pizzo? Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Mr. Ravenek, keep going.
Okay,
D1312-2025.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the application you just stated be approved based on a review of the pertinent information and comments presented at this hearing, and having conducted a site visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report, inclusive of the conditions stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels, did you second that? I thought you seconded that. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Marandola.
Thank you, Chair.
To the planner, 111 Barron Road, D1009-2025 and D1318-2025.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. So, 1111 Barron Road, a combined consent and minor variance to facilitate a lot line adjustment at the address. Applicant is requesting to sever approximately 2.7 hectares from the subject lands to convey to 19 1970 Holloway Road. The requested variance is for the resulting lot size, 1.3 hectares, which is short of the required 40 hectares in the agricultural zone. Please note that this is an existing deficiency against the zoning bylaw, and as a condition of the consent, we are requesting that the benefiting property at 1970 Holloway receive a similar minor variance within 2 years to address their existing lot deficiency. As I mentioned, the subject lands are located within the agricultural zone. A small southern portion is split zoned, Environmental Protection 2. The lands are part of the prime agricultural lands under the Niagara Region Official Plan and agricultural within the City of Thorold Official Plan. 2 dwellings, a garage and pole barn are the only buildings located on the rural lot currently, and no new development is proposed as a result of these applications. The consent application was reviewed with consideration of the applicable policies in the provincial planning statement, the regional official plan, the City of Thorold official plan, and the City of Thorold comprehensive zoning bylaw. With respect to the provincial planning statement, it limits non-agricultural uses and prohibits creating new lots within prime agricultural areas except for legal or technical lot adjustments that do not result in new lots. Since the proposal involves a lot line adjustment between 2 existing lots on Class 3 agricultural land as per the Canada Land Inventory and does not create a new lot, planning staff are of the opinion it is consistent with the PPS policies for prime agricultural areas. As it relates to the Niagara Region Official Plan, the subject lands are located within the prime agricultural area of the Niagara Official Plan, where consents are restricted to specific purposes such as legal or technical reasons and must meet a criteria to minimize impacts on agricultural uses and not create a new lot. Since the proposal involves a lot adjustment for legal or technical reasons, it does not create a new lot and meets requirements for frontage, access, and results in minimal disruption. Planning staff are of the opinion that it generally conforms with the Niagara Region Official Plan's policies. With regard to the City of Thorold official plan, the subject lands are mainly designated agricultural under the City of Thorold plan, which aims to protect productive agricultural land and permit compatible uses which support its economic viability. Since the proposal is a minor lot line adjustment that does not create new land and no agricultural potential is lost through the lot line adjustment, as neither of the lots are used for agriculture at this time, staff believe it generally conforms with the City of Thorold's policies for agricultural designated lands. Finally, with respect to the comprehensive zoning bylaw, the City of Thorold prohibits severances that cause new zoning contraventions, while the agricultural and EP2 zones, the Environmental Protection 2 zones, restrict development. No new structures are proposed with this severance. Both lots currently do not meet the 40-hectare lot requirement for the agricultural zone, but since this deficiency is pre-existing and a minor variance is sought, planning staff consider the severance to be generally conforming with the zoning bylaw. Additionally, under the 4-part test, for the minor variance, as it relates to the official plan, both the Niagara official plan and the City of Thorold official plan prioritize preserving large agricultural lots to support productive and efficient farming, restricting non-agricultural uses and consents that create new lots. Since the proposal involves a boundary adjustment between existing undersized lots not currently used for agriculture, no agricultural productivity is lost, and planning staff consider the variance consistent with the general intent of the official plans. Under the comprehensive zoning bylaw, the subject and receiving parcels are existing undersized lots currently not used for agriculture. The requested variance does not conflict with the zone's goal to protect agricultural land and support economic viability. The planning staff therefore consider the variance to be consistent with the bylaw's intent. With respect to the appropriateness of the development, the consent and minor variance applications propose a lot line adjustment between 1111 Barron Road and 1970 Holloway Road, improving the shape of the agricultural parcel at 1111 Barron Road and providing additional space for Meadowview Pet Resort, a rural use with a recently approved extension. Since the adjustment does not facilitate the further kennel expansion without separate approval and no objections were received from agencies, staff consider the variance appropriate with no anticipated negative impacts. And finally, is the variance minor in nature? The Planning Act leaves the determination of whether a variance is minor to the committee, who must consider the overall impact on the agricultural area beyond just the numerical zoning criteria. Since the proposed minor variance facilitates a severance that improves lot manageability and supports an established business without changing road frontages or causing major negative impacts, and addresses an existing contravention of the zoning bylaw, staff conclude the variance is minor in nature. In conclusion, staff are supportive of both the requested consent and minor variance at 1111 Barron Road to facilitate the proposed lot line adjustment, subject to the conditions listed within the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Planner. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? If you'd come forward and identify yourself, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Emily Broder, and I'm a planner at Lampro Planning Solutions. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Nick Luchin.
Welcome. Go ahead.
I do have a presentation, if that could be pulled up. Thank you. Okay, so the application is for a boundary adjustment and minor variance at 1111 Barn Road, which is outlined in red, and the benefiting lot is outlined in blue. So we are grateful for staff for recommending approval. However, we don't agree with one of the proposed conditions. You can do next slide. Just to reiterate, the property is about 10 acres. The lands in questions are displayed on the next slide. The property does contain of 2 dwellings, 1 garage, 1 pole bar. The application includes a boundary adjustment, transferring 6.58 acres to neighboring property at 1970 Holloway, and a minor variance to recognize the existing lot deficiency. Next slide. As shown on the survey, the subject property is outlined in blue, which is also known as a retained lot, and the lot outlined in red is the benefiting lot, including the lands being transferred. That's okay, you can stay there. So as shown on this slide is just a timeline. So on September 5th, pre-consultation was held. On May 15th, we submitted the consent application that was required. Upon following up to confirm if the application was deemed complete, which was on July 2nd of 2025, the city requested a minor variance for the lot area of the subject property, as well as they suggested a minor variance be completed for the benefiting property to allow for the use of the kennel, which is a legal non-conforming use, to bring it into compliance. Staff have recognized the legal non-conforming use, however, they failed to address a deficient lot area for the benefiting property. On July 7th, a revised application was submitted that included a minor variance for the subject property, addressing the deficient lot area. On July 29th, the city added a new requirement that would be a condition, which includes a minor variance for the benefiting property's lot area. The issue we have with this is that the lot area requirement for the benefiting property was missed in 3 instances, as you can see from the timeline: the pre-consultation, the first application submission, and the revised application. A change in city staff has resulted in the second minor variance being raised an issue. Although we do see the need for the second minor variance, we also believe that the city should have identified this earlier in the process. Our client is now being required to pay an additional fee that was unexpected. We are now asking that the city either waive or cover the cost, as the oversight was not ours, but rather on the shift of staff, as it was overlooked numerous times. We've already cooperated and have already revised the application once to include the minor variance for the subject property. Next slide. So kind of just to reiterate here, we believe the second minor variance should have been addressed earlier in the process, and we would appreciate if the city would waive the fee. Next slide. So thank you for your time and for hearing us out.
Thank you. Questions, comments from committee members? Mr. Pizzo.
First of all, what is a pole barn?
I'm not super familiar with the term myself. I believe it's just a standard type of agricultural barn.
Heard of the thing? You heard of it? He's a farmer.
Yes, he is.
What about these costs you're talking about? Can you elaborate on that?
It's to submit the second minor variance. So as a condition, they've asked that the neighboring property who are receiving the transferred lands, 1970 Holloway, that they have to submit a minor variance application, which is, I think, almost $3,000. I think it's $2,700.
So why do you want to be absent from paying?
Because it was missed in the pre-consultation. We were only told that a consent application needed to be done. Among submitting the consent application, they then came back and asked us to include a minor variance application, to which our client had to pay an additional, I want to say $500-600, because they let them do the combined application. So now they're asking for an additional $3,000 to submit a minor variance application.
Sympathize with you.
Mr. Chair, I guess I'd be looking for staff comment on the request for relief from the third or the second minor variance charge.
That was missed.
That was missed.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't feel like I'm qualified to speak on this, so I'll direct your question to Mark Davidson, the Manager of Development Planning.
Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as the consultant has alluded to, the minor variance request was missed. However, we are changing the lot configuration. The deficiency does need to be addressed through a minor variance application. They are requesting the waiving of the fee. I don't think they're denying that the minor variance needs to be done. The committee can make that recommendation carried forward, and then it's not a decision that staff can make. It would have to come through the committee.
Right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Davidson.
I don't know whether Mr. Daniels has any questions or comments.
Nothing. Just thinking too, sympathizing with the owners here on the additional fees. Have we ever had a situation prior to this, and how was it dealt with?
I don't remember it. I'm sure there's been mistakes made, but I don't remember
We've
it.
had this before. We've had this before.
We have.
All right. In that case, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Ravenek.
Just to clarify, I'm going to make the motions for approval. So the consent, if we were waiving the fees, that would be done in the minor variance approval.
That's
Okay,
right.
So I'll make the,
Through you, Mr. Chair, sorry, so it would be in the consent as far as I'm concerned, because
But it's the minor variance fee that we're,
but it is included in the report's recommendations as number 5, right there on the screen behind you. It says that minor variance to grant relief from minimum lot size as adjusted to include Part 3 within the agricultural zone be granted to 1970 Holloway Road to the satisfaction of the city. I would suggest if you're going to put in something about the fee, that it be added to that as an amendment. That's just my opinion.
okay, then I will be making that. So if you could make that amendment on my behalf, that'd be
Okay,
great.
would it be to
Waive
the fee?
Correct.
Okay, let me just change that really quickly.
and we're
here.
dealing with the consent, right? So D1009, 2025?
Yes.
I have to be honest, I'm torn on this. I'm not sure about waiving the fee. I mean, it's a variance that needs to take place. It was missed. That's too bad.
If they had been able to make it initially as a combined fee, then they wouldn't have to pay the full, third fee for the second minor variance. That would be my position.
So is our position that we're waiving the whole thing, or?
Just on that third,
The extra.
the second minor variance, the one for the Holloway Road.
Sir?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. Mike Sullivan, Planning. I'm MLG's call.
Welcome.
Just to clarify, we don't have any issue with the minor variance required. Staff was quite correct in asking for it. What we're asking for is the fee related to that minor variance to be waived, which is, as my colleague said, about $2,700. There are no other fees that we would suggest waiving. And it's not current staff. It's just simply there's been some transition in staff recently, and Mr. Gravenstein actually caught it. So kudos to him for doing that. And we're quite fine with the minor variance itself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So through you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Ravenek, I've added that bolded and italicized portion there to the fifth condition. Can you confirm if that's what you're moving?
Correct.
Okay.
How much is it gonna be?
It's just over 2,700.
I'm sorry?
It's just over 2,700.
Just over 2,700. And just to clarify there, I don't know whether Mr. Davidson or the consultant can, but the fees for the original consent application and the original minor variance were paid. It's just the third minor variance that was an oversight that you're looking to have waived. Yes, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Davidson, what is the actual difference? If this was found originally, what would the fee have been?
500.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, we do have I believe, a combined minor variance consent fee. I don't have the number, but it would have been reduced if it was $1,360. Yeah, it would be $1,360.
So the difference is $1,100.
But it's on a different property.
Yeah.
Right? So it is a separate application, all the same. So
thank you.
If we had caught it initially, they would have applied for two minor variances, one for both the receiving lands and the retained lands.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We do have a motion. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Mr. Pizzo. Further questions? Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Mr. Daniels? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the next one. D13, 18, 2025.
You did the variance anyway?
No, we didn't. No, we have to do them separately. Okay, Mr. Ravenek? Are you going to make a motion on the variance now? You did the consent.
Yes.
Thank you. D13, 18, 2025.
Yes, so I'll make a motion on the application you just stated be approved based on the review of the pertinent information and the comments presented at this hearing, having conducted a site visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Daniels. All in favor? Thank you. Oh, they're gone. Well, still thank you. Virtually thank you. I think we're going to switch chairs, are we now?
Yeah, I'll introduce Sean Harima. He's been our planning student for the summer, and he'll take you through the final application today.
Thank you. Welcome, Sean.
Notice on this one, they've had to do the stage one archaeological, so we were right in. Yeah.
Be gentle.
He knows what a pole barn is.
Yeah, I bet he does. When you're ready, Sean, D1011, D1316, and D1317. When you get settled. No rush.
Thank you. So, good morning, members of the committee. The next application before you regards the address 47 Pine Street South. This is a lot that's currently has a triplex built on it. The proposal is to sever the existing lot into two lots, keep the existing triplex on the retained lot, and build a new triplex on the severed lot. So both lots require variances. The severed lot requires variances for frontage and area, while the retained lot requires variances for frontage, coverage, parking, side yard setback, and accessory building setback. So altogether, there are three applications regarding this one address. Again, I'll be going through the policy and staff's recommendations fairly holistically, and then I believe you'll be voting on each in turn.
That's right.
Staff are supportive of each application. So we'll start with the consent. Of course, the committee has the power to grant consents subject to applicable policy. I trust you've all seen the severance sketch included in the report. In line with policy in the provincial planning statement, the application will facilitate modest residential intensification. In line with policy in the Niagara official plan, the application will facilitate the achievement of Thorold's 25% intensification target set out in that plan. It also supports the planning of housing that meets people's needs at all stages of life, since there is a public elementary school directly across the street. Section D4.2.1 of the City of Thorold's official plan outlines the considerations of the committee as it pertains to new lot creation through the consent process. It includes ensuring frontage on a public road maintained year-round, keeping with the relevant provisions of the zoning bylaw, limiting traffic hazards, that new lots can be serviced appropriately, that the development won't have a negative impact on drainage or environmental features or compromise the ability to redevelop the rest of the lands, and of course conformity with regional lot creation policy. Staff believe the application meets each of those criteria, except of course for conformity with the zoning, which will be dealt with through the minor variances. There are a number of conditions attached to this consent. Most of them are sort of the standard consent conditions you've seen before, but I'll flag two of them for you. First of all, there is an existing fire escape that protrudes from the existing triplex over top of where the new lot line would be. So a condition has been included to ensure that this and any other encroachments are removed and a building permit received for the same. Secondly, the applicant submitted a stage 1 and 2 archaeological assessment. However, during their review of the application, the Niagara region flagged for us that it hasn't been received and approved by the provincial agency that's responsible. So therefore, a condition has been included to ensure that this process takes place. Moving on to the minor variances. So the variances in front of you today are as follows. For the severed lot, to reduce the minimum lot area from 450 square meters to 430 square meters, and to reduce the minimum lot frontage from 15 meters to 10.7 meters. And for the retained lot, to reduce the minimum lot frontage from 15 to 13.57 meters, and to increase the maximum total lot coverage from 45% to 51%. Now, there are 3 more variances required for the retained lot. However, they merely recognize existing conditions. The property as it currently exists does not actually meet all the standards of the zoning bylaw. So these additional variances recognize that. They allow the present use of the property, and they're of a technical nature. So those variances are as follows. To reduce the minimum exterior side yard from 4.5 to 3.83 meters, to reduce the amount of parking spaces from 3 spaces to 1, and to reduce the side yard, rear yard setback for an accessory structure from 0.9 to 0.8 meters. So in regards to the first test for a minor variance, staff is of the opinion that the application meets the general intent and purpose of the city's official plans. It lines up with provincial, regional, and local policy regarding intensification, and we don't find that it triggers any of the sort of conditions or clauses in the official plan. Staff is also of the opinion that the requested variance is minor. Of course, the question of the minor versus major nature of a variance regards impacts as per policies in the official plan. The variance will permit the construction of a triplex while there is already a triplex existing on the lot. So we don't expect that to cause any additional impacts that may not already sort of exist. Staff also believes the variance is appropriate for the development of the land. The co-location of denser forms of residential uses with institutional uses, such as a public elementary school across the street, is desirable. It's in line with good planning practice, and it meets the goals of the Niagara official plan. Lastly, the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Staff is of the opinion that it is maintained for each of the variances. Now, I'd like to specifically pull the parking to discuss the nature of this variance. So as you can see in the image provided in the planning report, there are 3 parking spaces that are currently accessible to the lot from Metcalfe Street, and these will be maintained and service the retained lot, the existing triplex. In fact, the applicant has actually proposed to widen this driveway slightly to perhaps add additional parking. However, the street right-of-way for Metcalfe Street essentially cuts this driveway in half. So only the parking space in the garage is technically fully legal on the lot, and the parking spaces in the driveway are not. 3 parking spaces are required for a triplex as per the zoning bylaw, and 3 or 3+ are being provided. The current parking situation doesn't interfere with municipal infrastructure such as the sidewalk, and there's the engineering department and other city departments didn't flag any plans to change the street configuration here. If the road allowance was merely a few feet further back, this variance wouldn't be required at all. So staff is confident in saying that, in our opinion, this variance and all the other variances do maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? If you could identify yourself for the record.
Consultant. Okay, sorry. Joe Tomeno, Upper Canada Consultant. I'm here on behalf of the owners of 47 Pine Street.
Welcome, Mr. Tomeno. Go ahead.
I don't really I'll start off by thanking Sean. He did a thorough job, and I know he was a little nervous, and he did a great job. So, and I was going to touch on the parking, but he explained that fairly well, because that seems to be a common theme at these minor variance hearings. I think there's adequate parking for both the severed parcel and the retained parcel. And like he said, the parking for the retained parcel is of a technical nature. And eventually we can show 4 parking spaces for the retained parcel and 3 required parking spaces for the proposed triplex. Other than that, I'll just open myself up for questions.
Thank you. Mr. Pizzo?
And what is 3 plus parking spots? Well, what's this plus? Is it plus 5 more or plus 7 more or what?
Oh, sorry, +1.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Pizzo, I apologize. I wasn't exactly sure how many parking spaces widening the driveway would yield, but it turns out it's 1, so 4 parking spaces in total.
It seems like you're bothered about the parking being on the docket.
Pardon me?
You seem to be upset that the parking is always an issue.
No, I'm not upset. I just know it's an issue, and I just want to make sure that it got addressed by both myself and the planner.
Somebody gonna move?
Yeah, he is.
I'm
He's
just going to
he's
make a
leaning.
comment. I don't have any questions about the parking, but as usual, I'm concerned about the parking because the reality is that most households have more than one vehicle, and there is a school across the street. I know there's on-street parking, but it is going to add congestion to the neighborhood without a doubt. So with, I don't know whether Mr. Daniels has any questions. I don't want to.
I don't see his hand.
No, I'm good, George. You guys cover it very well with the parking and the issues, and it's always going to be. And there's no way to fully address it. There is new parking along Pine Street, which I mean that's intention, I believe, is for the school pickup drop off. Just hopefully those spaces are not impacted and causing safety concerns with the crossing starting. I mean, obviously when school goes back in.
Thank you, Mr.
But-
Daniels. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you.
Go
That's
ahead,
good.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay. Mr. Ravenek?
Feel like I'm monopolizing the.
He's the only guy with glasses.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the application for consent D1011-2025.
We're doing the consent first, right?
Yes.
D1011.
Yeah, D1011-2025 be approved based on a review of the pertinent information and comments presented at this hearing and having conducted a site visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Seconded? Mr. Daniels? Further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? D1316, 2025. Mr. Ravenek, finish it up.
Okay, I'll make a motion that the application you just identified be approved based on the review of the pertinent information and the comments presented at this hearing and having conducted a site visit and the reasons stated in the planning report.
Seconder, Mr. Pizzo? All in favor? The last one, D1317, 2025. Mr. Ravenek.
Okay, I'll make a motion that that application be approved based on the information, based on a review of the pertinent information, the comments presented at this hearing, and having conducted a site visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report.
Seconded by Mr. Pizzo. All in favor? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You can breathe now. Any other business, gentlemen? Seeing none. Next meeting, September 18th. Just like that. Why not? No.
My brother, my partner, Leo,
You're going to see the Pope, are you?
going to see the
All
Pope.
right.
he called me.
Safe travels. Anything else from staff? All these staff members? You got them all under control, Sean?
Trying
All
my
right,
best.
all right. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Pizzo. Thank you.
Sean, did your mother help you prepare that or?
It's all from up here.
You have lots when you're here.